to First Impression Friday. Today we are going to be taking a look at Australian designer Common Stitch. Common Stitch is, what do they say? Australian made sewing patterns and sewing kits for beginner and intermediate sewists of the modern era. There's some information here about the two women who run Common Stitch, Allison and Charlotte. They also have a lot of information on sustainability. If that is something that is important to you and you want to learn more about how or like what they're doing in regards to that, you can check this out. And I also wanted to point out that they do sell fabric. So if you're interested in purchasing some fabric from them, you can take a look at just some small batch stuff that they offer. But we are going to be looking at their patterns. And before I get into the patterns, I do want to point out that if you are brand new to sewing, or at least to garment sewing, and you're not super familiar with all the different substrates that there are out there and how to match them with different patterns, I highly recommend buying one of these kits. It will give you just the boost that you need. You'll complete a project where the fabric and pattern are perfectly matched together so you can really focus on the sewing skills and executing the actual sewing and not get frustrated because you simply picked a fabric that wasn't suited for your skill set or for the patterns. So I know that they're pricey, but take a look at them, invest in one. It will get you started off in the right direction. You'll be so happy with your first or one of your first garments. So be sure to check that out. But we are going to go to the sewing patterns now and take a look at what we've got. So we're going to skip a few of these. We're going to skip the baby dress just because I don't really know how to analyze a baby dress other than saying all babies look cute in handmade clothes. We're going to skip menswear, but if you are sewing for the holidays and you've got a guy on your list that you want to sew for, come check out this Finch button up. And then other than that, there are a couple of bundles in here that we'll skip over, but we'll check out the rest of the patterns. So this very first one is the Fawn dress. I don't know the conversion of Australian dollars to US dollars. I just know US is a little bit cheaper. So keep that in mind when you see, $20, it's Australian dollars, not US. Okay, so the Fawn dress has two bodice styles, two skirt lengths. Patterns are perfect staple for your wardrobe, beginner friendly, super versatile. Mix them up with plain or printed fabrics and get creative. So we've got short and long sleeves and then a shorter length and a longer length. They're designed to be oversized, so there's no need to size up. There's also very little concern with it not fitting, which is really great. And you can check out a sew along that they have for the Fawn as well. And you'll get an AO copy shop size and a letter size that you can print at home, which is great. So they've got sizes 6 to 14 and then 16 to 22. And we'll take a look at what that means here shortly in terms of the actual sizes that they cover. Not if it's, okay, great. All right, let's see what we've got here. The pictures are big, but I don't think I can scroll through them, so I have to go back and forth. All right, so we've got looks like a bias-bound neckline, possibly big enough to pull over your head, so no closures in the back. A little drop shoulder with a little sleeve band. You've got a gathered waist seam, and then some kind of pocket. I'm also assuming this is the shorter length. Okay, here it is from the side. Okay, so there's side seam pockets, and here's the back. So the back is not going to get any bigger. I don't think that that's a keyhole. I think that's a seam that's been top stitched. So there is a center back seam there. Here, let's look at the line drawings. All right, so here's our longer version, and then yeah, here's the back. Center back seam that has been top stitched. I'm not entirely sure the point of having a center back seam when you just pull it over your head. I mean, it will save a little bit on fabric, but I don't know. I might just cut that on the fold personally. I don't know. Here's the longer length. This is Really pretty in this white linen-y color or linen type fabric. It could be borderline nightgown, but I think it's boxy enough, like the fabric is stable enough that it's not giving me nightgown vibes as much as I thought it might if you had told me, oh, we're gonna make the long version in a white linen. Okay, so here are fabric requirements. So it's your binding is separate. Oh, okay. So if you purchase it, that's how much you need, or if you make your own, that's kind of cool. And then all our fabric requirements are based on the standard wide fabric. 1.5 yards wide. That's like 50. Yeah, so 60 inch. Okay. So they're basing it off 60-inch width fabric, I guess. And then 2 to almost 3 yards of fabric. Here is some finished garment measurements, but we want inches. So interestingly enough, the finished garment measurements for views A and B, which are, see, what is the difference? Oh, the sleeveless version versus the one with the sleeve, they have different bust measurements, which is really interesting. So the sleeveless one is a little bit smaller and it has like a 36 to 50 something bust measurement. So very, very generous. Again, the waist seam is pretty much negligible because it is so wide. Same thing with the hip measurement. But I did want to double check the bust because, I mean, it would be the closest fitting, but you can tell this is all so loose. So I don't think you have to worry about the sizing too much. But it is interesting to point out that the one with the little drop shoulder does have more ease in it than the sleeveless one. The sleeveless one looks like this when it's on. So you can see it's a little bit closer fitting to the body. All right, what is next? So we have a paper pattern as well. All right, and then we have the Waddle Bird jumpsuit. Okay, so it's a pretty basic squared neckline bias binding that I think turns into some kind of strap with a tie. And then you have, again, very generous, loose fitting waist seam with possibly a slash pocket. I think that's the same picture. Same pose. Can't see much from that pose. Okay. So, oh, okay. It also has an invisible zipper in the back. And so the ties, the bias binding comes all around the back, around the side, up over the shoulder, and ties here. You will notice that there is a lot of boobage showing. Well, I mean, there could be more, but I mean, there's definitely some side boob here. Now, I don't know if they just have it pulled down really low and, you know, this is the underarm seam. So typically that would be way up here. So I don't know if they pulled it down low to make it a little bit more sexy. But yeah, you can see it comes down really, really low. Now I will say on hers, it's not as low, but it still seems to look like it fits through the crotch. I mean, that's definitely not an adjustment that you can just make on the fly. You need to decide early on how you want it to fit. Because that'll determine the length that you have through the crotch area. So there's the line drawing. The line drawing looks very modest. It looks fine. Let's see what they say about it. Updated 2020 version. Sew it with a downloadable PDF sewing pattern. Okay. It's a simple everyday staple and a perfect addition to your wardrobe. Chuck over your bikini or wear with the bellbird blouse. This piece can be as versatile as you please. So yeah, I think it is meant to be layered. And then notions, download. Okay, got all that. All right, so this one's a little bit closer fitting in the bust than the dress that we just saw, but not by much. The bust measurements go from roughly 30 inches. The bust measurement goes from roughly 30 inches to like 48 and a half-ish. And then the hips go from about 43 to 56 inches, I think, if I've remembered that correctly. So definitely, you know, a roomier hip. I don't know technically what the ease is in the pant, but it is definitely a roomier design here. You can see here. So plenty of ease through the hip. You would really just need to make sure that the crotch length and depth is good enough for your body. All right, there's the Waddle bird. Next up, we have the Pipit Loungewear Set. How adorable is this? The Pipit Loungewear Set is the perfect timeless staple your wardrobe has been waiting for. Take it from night to day if you please. The rules and boundaries are blurred when it comes to this set. Okay. Okay, so we have a V-neck with a little button placket. You have, again, the drop shoulder and a very wide sleeve with what looks to be a very generous and wide hem. And then we have elasticated shorts, I think. Let's see. I don't know what's going on at the waistband, but it's definitely shorts. The pictures are really cute, but they aren't telling me a ton about the pattern. You just have to get to the line drawings for that. Okay, so it is elasticated all the way around. You have a little itty bitty pocket in the back. It also looks like the hem is angled, which is really nice. This one has a baby hem on it. Yeah, so the angled shorts are very flattering. Nice big hem on the sleeve, but baby hems on the shirt and shorts. A little facing is in there in the neckline to finish that off. And then you have some just measuring points, I guess. And then here is your completed garment measurements. Yeah, super generous here. Like negligible, especially because like, well, this is the waist for the top. So again, you can tell that top, the hemline is plenty big. For the shorts, you're going to be putting elastic in, so the waist doesn't even really matter that much with this one either. I mean, you could, in my opinion, you could kind of just throw a dart at, you know, the sizing and you would end up okay. And then this one is the Waddle bird and Fawn dress set so that you can make a pattern mashup of this is the Waddle bird bodice and then this is the Fawn skirt set. And I think the Fawn skirt set gives you these extra tiers. So they've just kind of taken patterns that already exist and repackaged them so that you could make more garments with them. This is the Waddle bird dress. So I think what they've done here is just taken that bodice and extended it into a dress. I'm a little bit surprised that they're able to charge for that because it is like a very basic hack. Maybe there were some other changes, but it looks to me like they took this bodice and just lengthened it. You know what I mean? So I personally wouldn't pay for that, but if you just want all the guesswork taken out of it, maybe there's like some shaping. I can see that they added a pocket, so maybe that justifies the cost for you. I could figure out this hack on my own, I think. I also want to point out how high this is on her neckline and how she has no side boob showing at all. So this is the dress over a top, really cute. Yep, same exact design. Here's the cami over, I think, the short set that we just looked at. All right, so they added a little dart in here, which is not included in the jumpsuit, which I don't really know why. If you need one for the dress, wouldn't you need one for the jumpsuit too? And then here's the little crop top. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about this. That seems like something that they could have just covered in a blog post, you know, and had it as like a freebie. This is the Bellbird wrap dress. So we've got a full-on, grown-on sleeve here. Wraps, possibly some pleats or darts in here. And then I think it's a true wrap also. Lots of pictures. Beautiful. Yep. Sorry, I just want to flip through these. Here it is shortened into a top and then worn, again, I think with those pajama shorts. I think there's bias binding all around the neckline. That's it over a bathing suit. Very cute. All these natural fabrics. Again, very, very easy to fit. You really don't have to worry about much of anything. Your bodice is going to be plenty generous. Your waist, more or less, is going to be cinched in whenever you tie it. And then your hip is also very generous and loose. So, again, sizing, you don't totally have to be exact. You will get really close. Okay, so that's the Bellbird. Here's the skirt set. So this is the Fawn dress. Remember the first one that we looked at? This is that skirt with extra tiers added on. How much are they charging for this? Also $20. Wow. I mean, I'm trying to think back to when I was a beginner. I can totally see myself paying for all the pattern work to be done, even if it is now what I see as a very simple pattern hack. Just to have it done, just to be able to focus on the sewing and not have to worry about adjusting any pattern pieces or drafting any pattern pieces. I can see that among like a group of beginner sewists. So I get that, I think. But I know there's a lot of you out there who know that you can make a tiered skirt. You can lengthen a bodice, shorten a bodice, and that you wouldn't need to pay extra to have that done for you. But needless to say, they have this available where you can take that pattern piece from the Fawn dress and add on a variety of tiers to it. These little shirts are also the bodices of the jumpsuit. They also have a short version. Look how cute this is. That is totally shirred. This is all sheared. I never know how to say that. Shirring, so it's shirred. And then this one is only shirred. Well, it might be the whole thing. It's hard to see with the lighter colored fabric. Oh wait, here's close up. Yeah. all shirred. That's certainly got to be comfortable, right? Okay, so there's a little skirt set for you. And then we have the bellbird, which is the wrap dress we saw. This is the wrap skirt. All right. So yeah, a true wrap skirt. They did add some darting here to make it a little bit more fitted because that dress is so loose. Um, but yeah, it's just a wrap skirt. Okay. And then we have the bellbird blouse. So this is the top half of that dress. Well, the dress is a wrap and this is not. So maybe just naming them all the same thing is a little bit confusing. But this one has, similar to the Fawn actually, you know, the bias binding, or maybe this is even a facing. This one actually has a set-in sleeve though. It still has that center back seam, which if you're pulling it over your head is kind of not necessary unless you just want it there for like an extra detail. And then it has the little gathered sleeve ruffle. Yeah, I think that's more of a wide facing. But I mean, maybe the bellbird, yeah, the fact that they're all kind of named the same thing. Like, look, here's some bellbird shorts. So, but I don't know. Let's see. The bellbird shorts look a lot like the pajama shorts, but with a little curved slash pocket. Cute shorts. Where were those other shorts? Yeah, they look kind of like those, but with a pocket. Okay, well, that is it. The utility wrap digital pattern is just a little accessory. I think they had some free patterns. Let's see what's in here. The Sparrow Tee, basic jersey t-shirt pattern, and then the Sparrow Market tote. Everyone needs a tote. We've also got a robe that they did in collaboration with Peppermint Magazine. A loungewear set. Fawn dress bodice tie hack. Is this free? You can download the pattern files directly on Peppermint Sewing School website. So I think you have to be a member of the school. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, wow, that is like a serious pattern for it being free. Here's the Sparrow Tee. Let's take a look at the sewing instructions. Just because I have a feeling this is indicative of what the rest of their instructions look like. So all of this information is listed at the beginning, and then their instructions are, oh, this is the cutting layout, okay. You have to draft your own neckline before you start. Some symbols. All right, and so then their instructions are illustrated. I mean, yeah, I think that this is pretty clear, especially for a beginner. I mean, it's not the most, like, you know, graphically stunning, you know, it's kind of like They could have done it in Microsoft Word even, you know what I mean? But it's simple and to the point. The instructions are short. There's not paragraphs worth of instructions, and each set of instructions has a really nice big illustration with it. So, I mean, you really can't ask for more when it comes to sewing patterns, in my opinion. You don't need a lot. Um, you can do more, but at the very basic baseline, I think they have that covered. So, all right. Well, I'm dying to hear what you guys think about Common Stitch. They've only been in business for a couple of years. And I appreciate the simplicity of their designs. I appreciate that you can make it without absolutely stressing out about fit. I think that that is perfect for a beginner. In fact, if someone told me all I've ever done is make face masks and I want to try making a dress, I would absolutely steer them here before I would even a Big Four learn to sew for fun. Just simply because because the fit doesn't matter hardly at all. And that to me is the hardest part, especially if they purchase the kit and they have the fabric and the pattern. They're going to have a dress that they made that they love. You know what I mean? So, but some of these are super cute for even the more advanced sewists, just because it's a simple, basic design. We've talked about this a lot when reviewing indie pattern companies. Just because it's simple and basic does not mean that it is not beautiful or really, really cute or any of that kind of stuff. So this little loungewear set, of course, I'm in love with that. It's very adorable. I don't know that I'd want to sleep in it, but I definitely would lounge around in it. The jumpsuit is cute too, assuming that you kind of figure out what's happening with the side boob, because I think it's a great jumpsuit to wear without a shirt underneath. I would want to do that personally, but not with that side boob showing. So I'd have to figure out an adjustment for that. And then the wrap dress, also simple, basic. Anybody could sew that. Again, you don't have to worry too much about fit. But the rest of the patterns are really just deviations off of one of those three. I feel like they have three patterns here, and then they have hacked and modified them to create new patterns. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that necessarily, especially when it just comes to lengthening or shortening something. It's hard for me to wrap my head around charging full price for that. So I'm not sure about that. But nonetheless, like I said before, for some people, just having all that taken care of for them is worth the price. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I'd love to know what you guys think. Please leave me a note in the comments section and let me know what you think about Common Stitch and their patterns. I was just going to take a quick look through the tutorials here to see what we have. Lots of sew-alongs. That could be a good reason why they're charging for their patterns too, no matter if it's just a hack or not. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye!